Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where it is News Day. And our good friend Pete Wilson is here to spend the morning with us and tell you all of the latest and greatest going on in our area. And the weather is still looking nice. I wore my Hawaiian flower shirt.
I see that.
today
I see
in
that.
honor of.
It gave me an emotional lift just when I saw you.
Did it?
Yes, it did.
It's not just me, it's the shirt.
It's both.
I don't believe you, Pete, but thank you. You're so sweet. But no, it's been a little bit since we talked news, so I know that there's always a lot of stuff that happens over the weekends, and
Tends to.
yeah, keeps you busy, right?
It really does. Yes. Right.
It keeps the job important, right?
Right. If we can,
Job security.
yeah, if we can get to it, we certainly try to. But probably the lead story, at least I've got it on the top of my stack, unfortunately, is a bad story that turned into a good story. It's a bad story because there was a kind of an unusual crime that will raise a few eyebrows. It occurred on Thursday down on Cove Road in Scioto Township.
Okay.
That's almost all the way to the Pike County line, a very rural area. And that is also where there is a fairly large Amish population.
Yes.
Here in Jackson County. You know, if you drive that way, even on 32 or the Beaver Pike and other roads that intersect there, you're gonna see a lot. You're gonna see a lot of our Amish buggies and Amish moving about there because they live there and they have some businesses. But we had a 16-year-old Amish boy who on Thursday was the victim of an armed robbery, believe it or not.
That is insane.
The boy was 16 years old. This happened on Thursday during daylight hours, I think late in the afternoon. But he was driving, a horse and buggy on Cove Road, which runs between the Beaver Pike and State Route 32, and a pickup truck stopped. The man who was driving the pickup truck was wearing a mask, so, he couldn't be seen very easily. And he pulled a gun on this 16-year-old Amish boy and demanded money.
That is awful, Pete.
Right. This information comes from the Jackson County Sheriff's Office, but the crime was reported. They did not say how much money or if the robber got any money, but he did attempt an armed robbery. I'd say he probably got something.
On a kid.
Right, on a kid at gunpoint. And after leaving the scene, the pickup truck was seen heading on Cove Road towards the Beaver Pike. And they did get a description of the pickup truck, not a really good one. If they had a license number, they didn't release that information. Okay. But and they didn't have a description of the robber because the robber did have at least some kind of mask on. All right, so we fast forward to Friday evening, and we received the news. Actually, we received it on Saturday morning, but the follow-up information happened on Friday evening, late Friday night. The suspected robber was captured in the Beaver area. And he is identified as 30-year-old Jason Daniel Holloway of Beaver. There is Jason Holloway. And he his pickup truck that he was driving was found in West Portsmouth, which is in Scioto County. And how they came to catch Mr. Holloway, I don't know, because they
Curious
had a
about
description of the vehicle. They did not have a description of him. We will probably never know that. Maybe there was a tip. Maybe somebody recognized the truck from the description or whatever, because they did put out the news that this happened. But a little bit more than 24 hours later, Mr. Holloway was taken into custody. He has been charged with 1 count of robbery. There isn't any, suspect in custody, pending investigation, being held or questioned. He has been charged with robbery. He will maybe face additional charges after the case is reviewed by the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office.
Wow.
According to the Sheriff's Office, they did say this much: a tip from a citizen led to the capture of Mr. Holloway in the Beaver area. He has a Beaver address.
Okay.
So, he lived not too far from where this crime took place. Probably was familiar, and I'm speculating here a little bit, but probably was familiar with the Amish that are in that area, if he lives there. And I looked this up because I found it interesting, trying to figure out this crime. As I told you off the air there before we started this broadcast, the Amish, as a rule, tend to deal mainly in cash and checks more than they do in credit cards and debit cards and like that. So the assumption may be that the robber felt like, this young man or any Amish might be carrying cash, because they tend to do business around their house. They do a lot of carpentry and furniture making and all like that. And they have small businesses. They work construction and like that. They have a big auction house there on Cove Road too, where there's some auctions that take place. So it could be that they felt, the robber felt that there was a chance that this young man would have cash on him. And so
that is, wow. That's one you just don't hear every day.
Right. And there will be, I'm sure that there'll be an arraignment on Mr. Holloway. More news will probably come out later on that. And, when we know, we'll certainly let you know. But that is the first time that, not saying it's the first time, but that's the first time that I heard of this type of crime with this victim.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. All right. Okay. We have some happy news to tell you.
Okay.
As we approach May, our local high schools announce valedictorians, and they have announced the 11 valedictorians for the class of 2024 at Jackson High School.
Oh, okay.
And we went down to the high school last week and took several pictures. Here is one of them, and I want to tell you who our valedictorians are. If you're looking at the picture, you're not on the radio, you're on the TV or Facebook. As we look on the front row there from the left, these, of course, are all graduating seniors at Jackson High School. We have Eli Browerman, Drew Wiley, Camden Robinson, A.J. Graham, and Dane Neff. Standing in the back row are Sydney Hughes, Kylie Duncan, Maddie Walburn, T.J. Carpenter, Abigail Plants, and Riley Kilgore. Those are your 11 valedictorians at the class for the class of 2024 at Jackson High School. People who are active around the school and sports and extracurricular activities have probably heard of these kids, because they're not only bright, but they're also involved in a lot of things as well. They're all high achievers. I know that much about these kids. And we will have a big spread in Wednesday's print edition with their pictures and profiles of each of these young folks. Every one of them, Jennifer, this just blows my mind, had a 4-point, and they also met certain qualifications to be a valedictorian that are beyond even just having the perfect grades.
Okay.
You don't have to have perfect grades to be a valedictorian, but in recent years, usually a number of them reach that, but they made the requirements a little more stringent beyond just the 4-point on like coursework and like that.
Okay.
And so, this is really a great honor to be
That is
valedictorian.
awesome.
And they will graduate on Friday evening, May the 24th, 8 p.m. at Alumni Stadium. And, they'll look at their phones and look towards the skies and hope that there's no rain.
Yeah, right. And
Because
so do you.
right, oh yeah, oh yes, we remember a couple of years where it didn't work out, but it usually has. But anyway, that's coming up. I want to go ahead and say, these kids, their parents, because they certainly are proud and deserve a lot of attention.
Sure.
Eli Berman is the son of Mark and Amber Berman. Mark, of course, is the middle school principal.
Yeah.
And just a footnote, Eli's older brother, Ty, was a valedictorian too a couple years ago.
Wow.
All right.
Good deal.
TJ Carpenter is the daughter of Chad and Aaron Carpenter.
Yep.
TJ, of course, was a great basketball player
Yeah.
for the Jackson Iron Ladies for 4 years. And TJ was one of her coaches and will be the head coach next year for the Iron
Chad,
Ladies.
yeah.
For Chad, right. And Chad will be coaching Sydney next year. That's TJ's younger sister. All right. Kylie Duncan is the daughter of Brian Duncan and Jennifer Duncan, and she was one of those great cheerleaders on that competition cheerleading squad,
Yep.
as well as being a first attendant for the 2023 Jackson Apple Festival. The daughter of Brian and Jennifer Duncan. AJ Graham is the son of Stacy and Andy Graham. And he has also been active in sports, played football, and is a member of the baseball team now. And he has the great honor of being the school board student representative. They
That's
started that
right,
a
yes.
couple of years ago, and a lot of kids want that job, but it is the official liaison position between the student body
Such a good idea.
and the school board. And so congratulations to AJ. Sydney Hughes is the daughter of Travis and Jennifer Hughes. Sydney was a 4-year starter for the Iron Ladies as well.
Yep.
An outstanding young lady as well. And she was also a very good volleyball player. And these kids that I'm mentioning, they all have the academic credentials as far as the National Honor Society and those other
Sure.
associations, activities, and achievements that you get because of your high academic standing. So that goes without saying. Riley Kilgore is the daughter of Dustin and Katie Kilgore. Katie, I think, is a teacher in the Jackson City schools. And Riley was one of those competition cheerleaders and on the varsity cheerleading squad as well. Dane Neff is the son of Dak and Heather Neff. He has been active in a lot of academic and extracurricular activities. And he did some outstanding community service projects.
Cool.
During his high school career, that we publicized above and beyond, doing things for younger kids, paying forward, so as to speak.
Nice.
Abigail Plants is the daughter of Matthew and Tracy Plants. She, of course, was the 2023 Jackson Apple Festival Queen. And she's going to be in the news for some other things, as well as being the valedictorian for Jackson, or one of the valedictorians for Jackson High School. Camden Robinson is the son of Cindy and Mitch Costello, and Camden was a leader in the Jackson High School marching band. I believe he might have been the band president this past year, and he also had one of the lead roles in the spring play.
Yeah, he's been here several times recently.
Right, very, very
So
good.
cute.
Very good young man. Maddie Walburn is the daughter of Matt and Kim Walburn, and she's got a lot of school connections. She was on Jackson Iron Lady too. So there was 3 Iron Ladies who are among the valedictorians.
Wow.
If there's anything to be said for athletic ability and smarts going together for success, those are prime examples. But Maddie has school connections. Her father, Matt, was her basketball coach, and her mother, Kim, has been a longtime elementary teacher in the Jackson City schools. Drew Wiley is the son of Jared and Kelly Wiley, and I believe that Drew's older sister was a valedictorian. Emma was, and Drew was a first-team All-Ohio linebacker for the Jackson Ironmen. And, all these kids, are heading to college. Drew is going to the United States the United States Military Academy,
Yeah,
the
so
Army,
cool.
West Point.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Let's see. Abigail is going to Yale University. I'm just mentioning a few of these right here. And then let's see, everybody is going. Camden, let's see. Abigail is going to Yale, I believe. Oh, and Dane is going to Yale too. I knew there was one
Isn't
more.
that wild?
I knew there was
that
one more
all
Ivy
these
Leaguer.
Jackson kids are. Man, that is so
No,
cool.
I tell you what, it is so hard to get into
Yes, it
Ivy
is.
League school, and you know you have to have the academic credentials and a lot of other things going for you as well. So congratulations to all those kids. But you can see profiles of each of them in our Wednesday paper. We'll also have that online as well.
Deserved.
All right. Okay. Speaking of positive announcements, just this last Sunday, there was a meeting and it was announced who the candidates are for the Wild Turkey Festival Queen this year.
Okay.
There are 13 girls who are trying out for Wild Turkey Festival Queen for Benton County. And remember, that festival is coming up the first full weekend in May, Thursday through Sunday. And here are the 13 girls who are candidates for Benton County Wild Turkey Festival Queen. Let's name them as well. In the front row are Emma Maynard, Jocelyn Toomey, Jessica Wells, Cassidy Graham, Justice Atkins, and Lydia Mayers. In the back row, from the left, Devon Farley, Carissa Brisker, Zoe Sowers, Kaylin Zeckman, Aubrey Rena, Gracie Workman, and Riley Bob. So 13 young ladies trying out for Wild Turkey Festival Queen. The big pageant will be on Saturday up there at Benton County High School, Jennifer. And it is a grand affair.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, it is a big thing. The Wild Turkey Festival Committee puts on a great show there with entertainment and everything. They do it up right. But what you won't find out is who the queen is and who the first and second attendants are. They keep you in suspense until Saturday of the festival.
That's right.
But this is still a big event. Open to the public, of course, $8 to get in, but it will be worth every bit of that $8. And that picture, by the way, will be in our Wednesday paper as well.
Awesome.
Also, they started not too long ago. This is either the second or third year for this, the Little Miss Wild Turkey Festival. They got around to doing that.
Yeah.
And those 8 young ladies were also selected and were profiled in a meeting on Sunday. I know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they all gave a different look there, but let's name them as well. From the left, they are Jordan Perry, Emily McDaniel, Grayson Albright, Layla Barnhart, Brinley French, Olive Butcher, Paisley Harold, and Brinley Clary. Now, their pageant is going to be Saturday as well. Last year it was on Sunday. This year it's going to be on Saturday at 10 a.m.
Okay.
So they have them both on Saturday, but they're separated. And the cost of admission there is $5. Same deal. They're not going to tell you who the Little Miss Wild Turkey Festival Queen is. They're going to announce that on Sunday of the Turkey Festival. That would be May 5. So it's not on Saturday night. It's on Sunday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. And we want to especially thank Andrea Campbell of the Wild Turkey Festival Committee for getting us hooked up with the information on the pictures and the names so we can give them proper publicity ahead of the pageants, which, of course, once again, are this weekend. All right, a couple of things that happened out on the roads that kind of disrupted the traffic, a little bit of excitement, a couple things to tell you. And we have photos.
Yeah, I keep getting, all the sheriff's things, the Nixle things where some roads closed here or there.
Right. Well,
seems like there's been a lot of it.
We thank the Jackson EMA director, Robert Chesleski, for this picture, forwarded it to Jeremiah Shaver, and he went ahead and gave us information. But this occurred Saturday afternoon on U.S. Route 35 west of Jackson near the Roberts Road intersection. That's not too far from where that tornado hit, about 6 or 7 miles out there towards Chillicothe. But the route was restricted to one lane for several hours on Saturday while crews worked to clean up a diesel fuel spill. There it is right there. You can see it was quite a mess there.
How did that happen?
Well, I'm not really sure how it happened. That it happened about 3:30 p.m. And I'm not sure that there was a, quote, wreck, but there was a leak of diesel fuel spill after the truck hit debris that was in the road. So that's how it happened.
Oh,
There was
gotcha.
not a wreck, but I don't know whether it ruptured the tank.
Maybe.
The debris was sticking up off the highway.
Wow.
Not exactly sure what that debris was, but that was what caused the fuel spill.
That's
And I mean,
scary.
it was a mess, but it's an environmental concern because of the diesel fuel maybe getting into the groundwater or getting into a nearby
Right.
creek or stream or whatever, and then who knows where it might go. But they had the road closed for several hours, or down to one lane, and the soil next to where the diesel fuel spill was on the road will have to be remediated, as they say, and removed to make sure it doesn't get into the groundwater and go anywhere else. The Ohio Environmental Protection Agency, the Ohio EPA, was to come to the scene later on and make sure that
Okay.
everything is going to be okay. So that was what was happening west of Jackson that affected the traffic.
Wow.
Now, just down the street from you on late Sunday afternoon, there was another one vehicle crash where a pickup truck ran into a light pole and knocked it down, sheared it in two, as a matter of fact. And that was the scene at the intersection of Pearl and Portsmouth Streets very late Sunday afternoon. And the driver of that pickup truck was 74-year-old Jerry Lambert of Thurman. He was coming on Bridge Street towards town. Or I'm sorry, he's coming on Pearl Street off Bridge Street towards town. And for whatever reason, his truck went out of control, went off the roadway and right into that light pole and knocked it over.
Oh, no.
Now, he told police officers that his truck malfunctioned. I heard the throttle got stuck. I heard the accelerator got stuck, but that was what he told officers.
Oh, no.
Now, there was no medical situation, and there was no, alcohol or drugs involved in this at all, but he was charged with failure to control as a result of that one vehicle crash. From what I understand, it certainly affected the service to the light pole, as you can see.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, there was no electric outage or fiber optic outage or anything like that.
That's
The
good
electric
news.
department was there a good bit, rehooking lines and all like that. And for a while there, you could not drive through the intersection. Well, they
Sure.
cleaned it up, and there was one live wire that was down, so they had to be really careful there. But it did happen on a Sunday when maybe some of the businesses there along that road were closed.
Mhm.
I do know that there was no service loss to Six Sense Brewing and Tap Room.
Nope.
Right.
All good.
Right. Yeah. Right. You kept
We'll
going.
keep it.
You
Yes.
kept going there.
Kept going.
Right. And serving very delicious chicken guacamole sandwiches. No,
Well, thank you,
no
Pete.
disruption in services there.
Yes.
All right. So what else can we tell you? At the last Wellston City Council meeting, and we're telling you about this because it's important, and there'll be another council meeting on Thursday where there could be a follow-up on this. Jeremiah Shaver is reporting on this. I'm just doing the talking right now. Very important decision was made. It was actually in the works, so it was no surprise. But Wellston City Council passed an ordinance that will recreate the position of Recreation Director in Wellston.
Okay.
Now, you got to go back all the way to 2015.
A few years ago.
Right, 2015, the city temporarily stopped doing the recreation programs because you remember they were in fiscal emergency. It takes money to run a recreation
Right.
program, and as important as it is to the community, there's lots of other vital services that the city has to figure out how to do and pay for. So they are really big heroes, and that is a sidebar to this. And we'll be mentioning a lot as this story develops, and they pick a recreation director. Make Wellston Beautiful, which is an all-volunteer organization, jumped in and took over the recreation program. Tammy Phillips is the current president, I do believe. She's on city council now. But her and a bunch of other very dedicated volunteers took over the city recreation, and it hasn't lost a beat. There's
Yep.
been a lot of development there as well. They work to
Yes.
get grants, hand in hand in cooperation with the city. And however, those volunteers have worked hard and long as volunteers. That's hard to do. A lot of times it's a lot of pressure on a few people. I know a lot of people did help, but the leaders, there's been a lot on them. And so with the city now in a better financial condition than it is, they are going to be taking back over the recreation program in Wellston.
Awesome.
I think the transition is going to be geared to the start of next year. But Mayor Anthony Brenner, who came up with the idea of doing this, I'm sure in consultation with Make Wellston Beautiful, kind of set the guidelines of how he feels the recreation director ought to be. Of course, it had to go through council, and the third and final reading was passed at the last council meeting. But the recreation director position, it's going to be important. They're making it a full-time position. It's not going to be any summer gig. It's going to be a full-time position. The salary is going to be $55,000 to $60,000, and it's going to be appointed by the mayor. It's not a union position or anything. It's going to be appointed by the mayor, and it has to be approved by council. That was a late throw-in addition to the ordinance that council has to affirm the mayor's appointment there. But you'll not only, the recreation director, whoever he or she is, will not only run the summer programs and all, but all programs throughout the year, and they will be in charge of taking care of all those ball fields that they have, and also managing future recreation facilities. And remember, Wellston is on the path to trying to develop an RV park over there where all those ball fields are.
Super cool.
So, there's much more than just managing ball leagues
Yes.
in the summer to this recreation director position. So that's in the works in Wellston. Okay, another development in Wellston, not too far from where all the ball fields are in Wellston. We have an update on the Wellston Fitness Facility behind Wellston High School. Now, this has been a long time coming, but it's really moving along now. There is the latest picture. It was actually taken just last Saturday by Jeremiah Shaver. That is what the building looks like. It's definitely evolving. You can see doors and windows now showing there on the exterior. They hope to have this fitness facility ready. They're hoping, fingers crossed, by the time that Wellston hosts the big Tri-Valley Conference track meet. That is coming up in early May,
Cool.
May the 8th, as a matter of fact. So they hope that it will be open then. But this fitness facility will include a weight room, a concession area, restrooms. It is being funded by federal dollars given to the district through the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Release System. It's 3,600 square feet. The weight room is about half of it. And there's, in addition to the men's and women's restrooms, there's also a family restroom. There will also be room for storage. And appropriately enough, at some point when they get close or when it actually opens, they're going to do a ribbon cutting event to celebrate it. We will have a story with more details coming up in one of our next two papers, probably maybe even the next one. I'm still thinking about what I'm going to put stuff into this next paper. All right, a big business development worth talking about just down the road from us, Jennifer. Of course, for many years, one of the more successful businesses in the Jackson area was Honda Suzuki Can-Am shop there on Clary Road, just outside Jackson. And, we know those folks very well. They are the ones who have cooperated with us and been a partner on the Cycle Search for quite a few years. Well, this was in the works, too, for some time, and it was finalized just very recently. That business has been sold by Mark Simmons and Brooke Phillips, the co-owners, to Iron Pony Motorsports Group Incorporated. And this is a big regional business. This is what one of their buildings looked at.
Oh, my gosh.
That is not our building, but who knows? Maybe it will have that look later on the signage. But this is another of the Iron Pony buildings with their logo and
where are they based out of? Because I've never seen that building.
Well, they are. I think they're out of the Columbus area, and they have stores in Westerville, Lancaster, Carroll, Mansfield, and now Jackson.
Wow.
And
cool.
So this represents move into a little bit of a new area for them, and they want to continue what Honda Suzuki Can-Am has been able to do here and build on that. Now, that business in Jackson, even though it was locally owned, it was kind of a regional powerhouse.
Oh, for
they had
sure.
They had a lot of folks come in from the tri-state area for business there. I went down there this year to take a picture of the cycles that they were going to give away for the cycle shop. I'd always seen it from the outside, but I went in there and my
It's
gosh,
cool.
you couldn't begin to count the
There's so much
cycles
stuff
that are in there. So, congratulations. Even though we're reporting this as a acquisition, how about congratulations to Mark Simmons and Brooke Phillips for their business success,
Exactly.
building that business and being able to, retire and pass it on to a company that obviously has the means to continue that and build on that even. So that story has already been in the paper, but it's also online as well, Jennifer. All right, we want to go back to the pinwheels. They're going to be up in Jackson and Vinton counties for the rest of the month of April, I think. But we wanted to show you all the pinwheels that are up at the Vinton County Courthouse. We didn't show you before that. Thank you, Hayden, for putting that up. But this is a big deal in Jackson County, and it's also a big deal in Vinton County. We had pictures before of the pinwheel plantings in Jackson, Wellston, and Oak Hill. Jackson at Manpower Park, Wellston in front of the city building, Oak Hill in front of their city building. This is in front of the Vinton County Courthouse there. And they actually counted their pinwheels. There's 325 pinwheels. And once again, this is, even though this is positive to promote child abuse prevention and child abuse awareness, it's sad that there are 325 cases of at least reported child abuse in Vinton County in the previous year. And that's what those pinwheels symbolize. And so, when you're driving by these pinwheels in these 4 places in Jackson and Vinton counties, I mean, think about why they're there.
Take a moment to think about that and those little babies that
Right.
have suffered the abuse.
Right. Talk about, a hidden problem. It is so important that
Absolutely.
this be publicized. And every year, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And, if a lot of this is a family stuff, if you're in a situation, family or friend, where you know that there could be child abuse
Say something.
occurring, you need to report it
Yes.
to law enforcement and or to social service,
For
because
sure.
there are professionals who will do something about it. Think about the child.
Yes.
All right. Okay, there's a little bit of a tribute I want to do here. We lost a very nice lady who's very well known throughout the county, especially down Hamilton Township way. That's where she lived. Ruby Gillen. Did you know Ruby by any chance? There she is right there.
Yeah.
Well, she passed away at the age of 79 last week. I believe her funeral and everything, yes, it was yesterday. But she lived down in Hamilton Township. She was the wife, I'll go about the other way, telling something about her. She was the wife of Roger Gillen, who is, the last dairy farmer.
Yes.
One of the last dairy farmers, if not the last dairy farmer, down in Jackson County, down in Hamilton Township. But Ruby plowed a path of her own of notoriety. She was the face of the Jackson Soil and Water Conservation District for quite a few years before it grew, and it had, conservationists there on staff, and they had a new office and everything. But she was involved with Soil and Water Conservation District of Jackson. I know I worked with her for many years, on the newspaper side, but she did that for 32 years. She was also with the Farm Service Agency for 10 years. And she was also well known on the social and community side for her quilting and her crocheting. She donated hats to the newborns at Holzer for many years, and she also did beautiful Afghans, purses, hats, and scarves that she made that were often displayed at the Apple Festival. And her scarves, she donated many of these to the Shoebox Ministry. So what a nice lady, Ruby Gillen. And, even if she didn't do all that stuff, just a nice person all the way around. We hated to lose her, and comes from a salt of the earth family as well. And I'm sure that she has a whole lot to do with the fact that her family is so prominent and such good deed doers in Jackson County. You have Roger, of course, and you have their children. Dale Gillen, the youngest son, for instance, very prominent with the Jackson County Fair, as I think he's been ahead of the livestock committee for a number of years. So anyway, very sad to lose her, and we wanted to give a tribute and a shout out to her, and send our condolences to the family.
Sure.
All right, a couple of things on the highway now. Better weather, that means the orange barrels are going to be out a little
Yeah,
bit
it's a
more.
blessing and a curse, right?
Exactly. It's a two-edged sword. But a big project that I don't think it's started yet. I think maybe there's some signs of it, some barrels that might be out. I've heard about it, but it's not supposed to start till Monday, April 22nd. But it's on State Route 93 on the south end of the county. But all the way from Zane Oak Road, which is north of Oak Hill, all the way to the Lawrence County line, they're going to be repaving State Route 93.
Oh my gosh.
So at least one lane will be maintained for the duration of the project. So it's not like you're not going to be able to get through. It will probably take most of the summer to do it. And it is supposed to start on April the 22nd. That would be next Monday.
That'll slow things down a little bit.
Right. So, for those commuters that are coming out of Oak Hill, maybe coming north to Jackson to work or whatever, or those folks heading down to Oak Hill or Lawrence County, might be slowed down a little bit by some restricted traffic, might have to stop in one lane while the other lane's going, but you'll always be able to get through according to what ODOT tells us. Exactly. Also, ODOT District 10, we have District 9 in Jackson County, we have District 10 in Vinton County. They report that there's going to be multiple culverts replaced on State Route 278. This has been going on for some time, and it will continue to be going on. State Route 278, not sure its exact path, but I know that it connects off US Route 50 east of MacArthur and goes north. It goes through and by Lake Hope State Park in Saleski up that way. But they are replacing culverts there. They've been doing it for a while, and multiple culverts, as a matter of fact. And the work right now is taking place between Irish Ridge Road and 2 Mile Road. And in this situation, they're closing the road down where they're working completely during the day from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and then opening back up and then moving to the next culvert and so forth. So you can expect some disruption in that area on work days, Monday through Friday. All right, now this is happening today, as a matter of fact. This comes from Madison Township trustee Chris Walls. And so if you live in Madison Township, particularly near the Oak Hill area, there is a road called Joe Evans Road, which is just north of Oak Hill. You can access it off State Route 93, and it goes eastward, north of Oak Hill. But a section of Joe Evans Road is closed today for road repairs. You can't get through on this section. It is from CH&D Road to the bridge. I don't exactly know where the bridge is, but the locals will know where the bridge is. But it is off 93.
Pay attention to the signs. There will be signs.
Right. Joe Evans Road on CH&D Road to the bridge, that will be closed today, not just restricted, for road repair. All right, we want to remind folks in the city of Jackson that it's spring cleanup week.
Very handy. Take advantage of
starting yesterday and running through the week, and they run this in tandem with the garbage service. But instead of just putting out, the regular garbage, you can put out big stuff that you normally wouldn't be able to have picked up like this.
Sure.
We're talking about, furniture, mattresses. If you have furniture and mattresses, they must be wrapped and sealed in plastic. If you don't do that, they won't be picked up. That's because of the threat of bed bugs. Plastic bags can be purchased at the utility office if you need them. Not everybody has those big plastic bags that cover a mattress.
I was wondering, where do you get a bag to cover all this stuff? So that makes sense. Okay.
But the extra stuff that you put out, the volume that you won't get charged for this week, if you've cleaned out your garage or your basement or your closet or whatever, and it's not yard sale stuff, you just want to get rid of it, this is the time to do it.
Now, do you have to call? Because I know in the past, sometimes you've had to call and say you need something picked up or whatever.
Okay. What it says here is any items to be picked up should be placed curbside with the regular garbage by 6:30 a.m. because it's going to take them longer to pick up stuff because there's extra stuff on your regularly scheduled pickup day. If you have appliances, that's where you need to call.
Okay.
So if you have those old refrigerators, washers, dryers, gosh, isn't that great to be able to get rid of those? Yeah. You don't want those hanging around when they don't work anymore. Call 286-4419. I think that's the utility office or street department. Anyway, that number is your connection to get an appliance pickup. Now, what you can't put out on spring cleanup week: paint, hazardous chemical, tires, or construction materials.
Okay.
You can put them out, but they won't pick them up.
Sure.
All right. Okay. The Vinton County Genealogical and Historical Society, or maybe it's the Vinton County Historical and Genealogical Society. But anyway,
Either way, you
good
get the
folks,
drift.
good folks, all volunteers, that run Alice's House. Alice's House is on South Sugar Street, 207 South Sugar Street, on the south side
There
of
it
town.
is.
There it is. That house goes back more than 100 years. It's from the Victorian era.
Did Alice live there?
Alice must have lived there. Whoever she was, God bless her.
Who's Alice?
Well, anyway, Alice's family left that house to the community through the Historical Society there in Vinton County. They run a period house. They have a history museum in there. It's very nice. It is not open all year long. It's seasonal. Well, it's opening on Wednesday for the season.
Cool.
I think it's only closed during the winter months. So it'll be open all the way through fall into near Christmas, I think. But it will be open starting Wednesday, and the regular hours, it's not every day of the week, but it's Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, open to the public, free of charge, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. There is not only the house museum, with the furnishings of the period and all like that, but there's also a history library there.
Awesome.
So that is Alice's House. All right, coming up this weekend, it's always a big event in Wellston, the Wellston Rotary Show. And
yes.
it's going to be this Friday and Saturday at Wellston High School, 7 p.m. both nights. Here's a couple shots from last year. They have those distinctive costumes that they wear. The choir, which is known as the Circle, there they are standing behind. And in front, this is a good overall shot to show you what's in the Rotary Show. Standing in front, those guys in costume, kind of dressed in jeans and the coveralls and like that. Those are the end men.
Yes.
They are kind of like the glue.
They're the funny guys.
They're the funny guys. And also Dana Lockard is going to be the interlocutor. I think I said that right. That is kind of like the MC.
Okay.
That kind of makes the introductions and all. And the Rotary Show is done by the Wellston Rotary Club, and it goes back to 1947, Jennifer. And what they did was, they think that this is the 70th year, or they're saying it's the 70th year. They're going to kind of herald back to the first Rotary Show and do some of the music from that very first show. The theme this year is Pack Up Your Troubles, and they will have a number of tunes from that first show. The director is Dorothy Riepenhoff.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you a whole lot more because Dorothy and Susie Emmert and I think Tim Jackson are coming tomorrow.
Aha.
All right, if they're not, I just said that they were, so they better.
They better be here.
But I talked to Dorothy via email over the weekend, and they were delighted. Say, oh, do we get to talk to Jennifer?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's what they
right,
said.
and so they will be in to give you many more details.
Awesome.
But this is a great event. I've covered it a number of years, and you would be surprised at the quality of the music and the comedy.
Oh, it's great.
It can be hilarious. And of course, it costs almost nothing. It's $2 admission.
Yeah.
And you can actually get a reserved table up front for $10 or a table of 10 for $60 if you want to do that, have prime seating. I think they will sell concessions also on the general admission stuff. And it should be a great show. But in addition to being a community institution, it really is, and some really good local entertainment. You don't have to be in the Rotary Club to be in it. About 25 people are in it this year. It is a big fundraiser for the Rotary Club,
Yes.
and you know that they pump that money right back
Absolutely,
into the
right back
community
to the kids
for
and the
good
people.
stuff.
Yep.
All right. We also want to acknowledge, speaking of good stuff, the donors for the scoreboard at Haller Field here in Jackson.
Okay.
These folks are the representatives of the donors who were recognized before a ball game last week at Haller Field. From the left, I'm going to name them because they deserve some credit as well. You have Paul Haller representing the Haller family, and yes, he is the son of the late great Dick Sparky Haller, who the field is named after, longtime baseball coach. Then you have Caleb Haller. That is Paul Haller's son. He's still playing college baseball, by the way, right now. Then you have Kyle Hickey and Eric Massey. They are next in the row there from the left. They're representing Geiger Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have T.J. Oosley, who is representing Bryn Mawr Construction.
Yep.
You have Dr. Brian Morris of Southern Ohio Smiles. You have Ryan Jones of Ohio Valley Bank. You have Seth Stockmeister of Stockmeister Companies and Total Media. And on the end, you have a very grateful Jackson High School Athletic Director, Waylon Massey.
Yep.
All these folks gave money so that Haller Field could have a $31,000 scoreboard. So when you see that and you see that, oh my gosh, how could the school afford that? School didn't pay for it. Donors came forward and paid for it. It was, a springboard of the Bullpen Club, which is the support club that pays for most of the baseball expenses. And give special credit, I think, to Ryan Jones. Ryan works at Ohio Valley Bank, and he is the treasurer of the support club. His son is on the team. Ohio Valley Bank was the major donor, $15,000.
Wow.
How about
Good
that?
for them.
Of the $31,000, the other donors gave $2,500. They're all businesses except the Haller family. And I tell you what, I know that meant a lot to Paul to continue to invest in the field that is named after his father. So definitely a feel-good story there.
Awesome.
Of course, along with graduation, Jennifer, the alumni celebrations are in line, and we want to make one of the announcements about the Jackson High School Alumni Program. It's coming up on Saturday, the day after graduation. That would be Saturday, May the 25th.
That's right.
It will be down at Jackson Middle School. They all call it the old high school. They're dating themselves. I'm one of those.
Well, it will be until all of us old people, retire on.
I remember we still do this, and this is so crazy. In the middle school, calling the gymnasium the new gym. Remember that? Remember that? And it's
You're
so old.
right. Oh my gosh, yes.
And it's still used and fixed up and all like that. But that's what we used to call
The
it
new
then.
gym. You're right. We did too.
Right. The old gym is actually the auditorium. Of course, that's where this alumni program will take place. But one of the speakers is going to be Carol Cosby Tiller.
Okay.
She is the class of '74, and the reason that she is speaking, in addition, to stepping up and volunteering to take on this important role, the 74 class, you can do the math. This is their 50-year anniversary.
Yep.
And every year, the 50-year anniversary class is in the spotlight at the alumni program. They get to sit in the front center section. They make an extra effort to get, the old grads, the alumni back. And I know the class of '74 is doing a good job doing this. Carol Cosby Tiller, who now lives in Richmond, Virginia, she will speak on behalf of them at the alumni program. There are actually 3 speakers. There's a Toastmaster, and there's 2 class speakers, and then, they do some other things as well. The Hall of Honor induction will be right before the alumni at 4:45. Alumni should start at about 5:30, and then after the program, they all go, or they can go, to the Parks Edge Event Center for the happening. That is the after party. That is a grand event there. The alumni and Hall of Honor are free. The happening is a ticketed event because they've got food and music there. They got to, and the venue,
Right.
they got to pay for that.
Feed you.
So tickets are available for that. The tickets for the happening, it's not closed to just alumni. I mean, anyone can go, but alumni especially should be interested. $25 a ticket, and it must be purchased in advance because they have to plan. They have to know how many of those.
Well, you need to.
They have to
get
know how
food
many
and all that, yeah.
how many of those veggie trays to have. Checks should be made payable to the Jackson Ironman Alumni Association. The person to call, my gosh, she shoulders so much work every year, is Vicki Howell Williams. 418-2117, 740-418-2117. This information was in last Saturday's paper, and we keep repeating it so we can get the word out about alumni. But alumni truly does bring in a lot of people that weekend because, a lot of people come from out of town.
That's exactly
And
right.
this is their reason to come back and see some of their old school friends and chums. And at the alumni, at the happening, we encourage, I'm on the alumni committee, we encourage the individual classes that often have reunions to have their reunion there.
Yeah.
And that way you see not only your class members, but you see other alumni as well. It was so cool last year because after COVID, 3 straight alumni got canceled.
Yep.
There were 4 classes that got honored at last year's alumni. They all had a spot in the auditorium, and then they all had a spot at Parks Edge. And And, you know,
Super.
as a member of the class of 73, you don't think I wanted to see members of the class of 72,
Sure.
71. I mean,
Sure.
I know them almost as well. So it worked out really well. So we encourage all the alumni, whether your class is having a reunion or not, to come and be part of that. All right, we want to also send out a notice that the Wellston City Building will be closed on Thursday. They're doing training, not sure exactly
Okay.
what for, but it's very important. They're going to have to close the doors to the public. Now, you can still, you can still do utility payments online, or you can use the Dropbox for a payment. You don't have to necessarily go in that day. The Wellston Police Department is not going to be closed down, for God's sakes.
No.
And if you need to go there, you can still go into the police department. Police department's in the basement of the city building. For those who don't know, you can go onto the porch and still get down into the basement to make a report or to visit the police department on that day. If you have an emergency, you can still call 911. Nothing's going to be shut down. The telephone service will be working. The office workers are working. They're not taking the day off. They will be checking emails during breaks.
Okay.
So, you know,
Just doing training.
there will be some indirect communication that is possible. All right. I want to mention something about Merle mushrooms.
What?
The Merle mushrooms. I said
Is
that
that
right?
a person?
No.
Oh.
They are the mushrooms that grow wild that everybody goes crazy over. There they are. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
morels.
morels.
Yeah, I said that wrong. See, I am sorry. I am sorry. I got that wrong.
Merle mushroom was
I
a
said
person.
I said that wrong. No, it's not Merle. It's the
Morels,
morel
yes.
mushroom.
Okay, all right.
And I tell you what, they always avoided me the same way when I hunted them. My father-in-law taught me how to hunt them, and sometimes you just have to get lucky
Yes.
because they're not always in the same place. But it's out in the wilds a little
Yes.
bit. So if you're not afraid of ticks, go for it.
Yeah, I'm afraid of ticks, but
But I tell you what, the reason I brought this up, it's a big thing in this area to go
Yes,
out
it
in the woods and hunt these mushrooms. And they are delicious. They're worth a lot of money, and
Yes.
they taste delicious. But Jessica Burns, who is the extension educator up in Vinton County, she wrote a column on this for her column in a recent
Really?
paper and had some wonderful information about the morels
okay.
and the fact that it's so popular to do around here. But I just wanted to mention that because it's deep in our culture.
That's awesome.
Okay, today, speaking of good food, the Jackson Rotary Club is doing its chili bean dinner.
They are.
They have done this now for a couple of years. And talk about, taking care of supper or lunch. You can do that today for a nominal cost and support the good causes that the Rotary Club does here in Jackson.
That's right.
With a chili or bean dinner, they're going to be operating from the Farmer Sportsman booth.
That's right.
They're on Veterans Drive, not too far off the Harding Avenue intersection. But it's going to go from 11 a.m. to 6, so you can do, all throughout the day, supper or lunch or in between. They will stay open till 6, provided they don't run out of food. So, you might not want to wait real late to go, but they will have chili or soup beans, your choice, or both, but it's $5 each for a nice serving. Hot dogs with sauce for $2. A slice of cornbread for $1. Everybody thinks they have to have cornbread with the soup beans.
Yes, you
and-
do.
And the popper water for a very nominal cost of $1. So that's the chili bean dinner for the Jackson Rotary Club, and that is today, Jennifer.
It is. So get out, and it's going to be beautiful out. So you could go get it, eat at the park, and breathe in, the pollen and see the bees and the birds.
Right, and I tell you what,
And whatnot.
I am a member of the Rotary Club. I'm not active like I used to be. I pay my dues. I won't be there working because
Because you're here working.
I'm at the altar of total media, but I can tell you that those folks, a lot of young folks there, they have jobs and they're taking time off
Yes.
to work a shift or multiple shifts there.
Yes.
They're very community-minded and service-minded people, and all these proceeds that they make will go right back into the community, I guarantee you.
You got it.
All those people are over there volunteering.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of food, I would be remiss if I didn't remind people about the Hope Methodist Church free community lunch. They do
Okay.
this twice a month, Jennifer. It's
That's
a freebie.
awesome.
It's open to the community. It's just not for church or, the poor or the underprivileged. It's for anybody. It's a social thing. It's
Yeah.
also a service thing for some people who may not have the opportunity or the means or the ability to always have a nice hot home cooked meal. But they do a lunch they do a lunch one of the weeks and they do a dinner the other week. This is lunch week. But on Wednesday, they do it on Wednesdays.
Okay.
I think it's the first and third Wednesday of every month. This is the third Wednesday, and it will be a lunch. It will be from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. The church is located at the corner of First Street and New York Avenue in Wellston. Totally free now. A pulled pork sandwich, coleslaw, chips, and dessert. They will even allow you to pick it up. You can dine in, but they will even deliver, at least in the Wellston area. You just have to call ahead at 384-2663. That information we have in the paper and online and on Facebook. But that's something that the
Love that.
Hope Methodist Church has done for quite some time, and they continue to do it. Wonderful service project. One more thing on food, Jennifer.
Oh,
Hey,
I'm all about food.
No, you're all about food. The Jackson Lions Club is going to have a veal sale this weekend.
Oh, okay.
I believe that they will be at the Farmer Sportsman booth as well. This will be Friday and Saturday, so you can get your soup today from the Rotary and hot dogs, and then you can get your veal this Friday and Saturday at the Farmer Sportsman booth. It will be from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. on both of those days, Friday and Saturday. You got 2 different days to do it. They're also going to be selling soda and water as well. They'll have all your mustard, ketchup, and mayo and dill pickles there. You can dress up your veal the way you want. Proceeds from this event are going to be targeted for one of their pet projects, which is funding research and service for type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
The Lions Club will also be collecting eyeglasses to be refurbished. This is another project the Lions Club has always done. So if you have an old pair of eyeglasses and you're not using them, maybe you have multiple pairs, they will put them to good use if you can think of that.
Okay.
They would like to thank the Farmer Sportsman for the use of their booth, as I'm sure the Rotary Club does as well. So that's once again 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. this Friday and Saturday. So
Very
a
cool.
lot of things going on, Jennifer, and we have arrived at 10 o'clock just as I finished the food.
I did want to talk about one more thing because our friends from the Humane Society of Jackson
That is
County
coming
were
up
in-
too.
Yeah, a week or so ago to talk about their Paws for a Cause event, which is so cool. If you have kids, you need to get to this. The Humane Society of Jackson County doing Bluey and Bingo this coming Saturday at the Jackson First Church of the Nazarene. That's at 251 Powell Drive here in Jackson. It's 1 to 4 p.m. And Bluey and Bingo will be there. If you have kids, you know who Bluey and Bingo are. They're also bringing their friends Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, and Miles Morales. Feel free to take pictures of your kids with the cell phone. There's going to be door prizes, face painting, temporary tattoos included in the ticket price. You can go to eventbrite.com and tickets are only $10. And your kids can get to meet Spider-Man and Bluey and Bingo and all of the folks there. And of course, this great event for children will benefit all of our furry friends in the area. And the Humane Society works solely off of donations now. They used to get some grants and things, and unfortunately things are really tight. So they're basically working off what they can earn, with events. So.
Right. And you may know more about them than I do because I know that's one of the causes that you embrace as well. But my impression is, once again, you have few people
Very few
doing
volunteers.
a heck of a lot of work, too much.
Doing way too much work. And, it's a thankless job. People tend to get really upset with them when they call and say, I have a litter of kittens, come get it. Well, okay, so does everybody else. So the whole point is to spay and neuter. They do have the Rascal Clinic coming up. You can call 740-978-0424. I don't know if they're still accepting, the waiting list or not for that.
I think they are. I asked Diana when she was in another time about that because they, of course, wanted us to publicize the last clinic.
Yes.
And even though, the signups for that clinic may be passed, they do more clinics, and so you put yourself on a waiting list there.
Yes.
And she emphasizes they're not going to be there to answer the phone.
No,
But you need to leave a message.
leave
I
a
mean, don't be
message.
frustrated about it. They
Exactly.
will get back to you in the order that they can, because they believe in what they're doing. So
Absolutely. And the whole point is, prevention of more litters of kitties and puppies and all of that. So, anyway, it's a great day to get out, support our furry friends, the Humane Society, and also have some fun with your kids.
absolutely, sounds like a great day. Sounds like a win-win, right?
It is.
A lot of these things we've talked about are win-wins.
Yes, they are. And you don't get to talk about that too much,
Right.
Pete. All right. Well, it looks like we made it through another day. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. And thank you all for tuning in. And we'll be right back here tomorrow with some more fun. So have a great day. Enjoy the warm weather, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website.
thetelegram.news.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegram.news.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegram.news.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegram.news.com.
Check it out.